Good morning. It's a beautiful start with some beautiful songs from some beautiful sounding birds. It's about 4:45. Looks pretty overcast and cloudy, so there might not be that beautiful sunrise I was hoping for up on top of the mountain. But that's okay. Still going to be a beautiful day. And the birds are here to remind me of that. Getting my coffee, gonna eat Pop-Tarts, take the tent down, get on the trail, and get this day going. It's gonna be a great day. Beautiful flowers here in this little open meadow as I'm climbing to the summit of Bromley. Nice little change from being in the forest pretty much the whole time since I've been in Vermont. So I'm digging this a lot, even though it's foggy and it appears I am not getting my sunrise on Bromley. But that's okay. Like I said, it's beautiful nonetheless. Woo! I am blessed. This tower is closed. Looks like some construction going on. I think this building here is open to for hikers to stay during the summer. This is a big ski lodge here on top of Bromley. Let's check this thing out. It's really hard to see anything because of the fog. Yeah, there's a dog inside that. Dog inside the building there. This is the ski lift, I guess. Yeah, you can barely see it here. Alright. Nice. Standing on the summit of Bromley Mountain, also known as Vermont's Sun Mountain. Ironically, there's no sun here. Very socked in with fog, maybe clouds, I'm not sure. There's no rain, just foggy. It's moving pretty fast, so I'm thinking it will move out and it'll become a sunny day, but this here looks like it used to be like where maybe the ski lift went. The AT goes down that way, coming off the mountain. And over here is a lookout tower, which you cannot see anything. Over there was a ski lift. Didn't get my beautiful sunrise on top, but nonetheless, Bromley Mountain is in the bag. Peru Peak Wilderness. If you've seen yesterday's video, I talked about this at the end, that after Bromley was Stiles Peak, but it's in the Peru Peak Wilderness. And then the shelter that's after that is called the Peru Peak Shelter. So I was confused because nothing on Far Out says anything about Peru Peak, the mountain. So I was confused on whether Stiles Peak and Peru Peak was the same one, because I wasn't seeing anything about a peak called Peru, and that wouldn't make any sense since this whole section is called the Peru Peak Wilderness. So they had a map at the beginning of that entrance to Peru Peak Wilderness, and Stiles Peak is up here in about 1.25 miles for the summit. And then you kind of go across the ridge line, some outcroppings, and then you climb up Peru Peak before turning west, which starts descending to where the shelter is. So now I know where it is. I know which part it is, which I would have known anyway when I climbed up that I was on a summit. However, I might not have known as Peru Peak unless there's a sign up there, because for some reason it's not on the navigation tool I use. So that's kind of odd. So maybe catch up Far Out. Because this is called the Peru Peak Wilderness. You probably should have Peru Peak on the actual map. So people know where it is exactly, in case there's confusion, which I was confused, and now I'm not. So, I digress. 2 summits in the next 4 miles. Woohoo! Standing on the summit of Styles Peak. Rock outcropping here, but unfortunately there are no views as it is also socked in with fog. Had to get that web out of my way before my face ran into it. Now that was a climb. That felt good. That was nice and steep. Getting the heart pumping, getting that sweat rolling. Not that I need it, as I am already soaked from all this humidity and fog up here. But that's the view, if we could see it. What a climb. I love that one. Styles Peak is in the bag. There's some moose poop. I've been waiting to see some. I haven't seen any on the trail yet in Vermont, but I know there's some moose around here, so I see a lot of comments about moose poop, but I hadn't seen any. But now there's some moose poop, so maybe there's some moose in this area. I don't know. Oh. More moose poop. Based on quantity, this one looks like it might have been bigger. More moose poop. Okay. Okay then. We might be in moose country now. Keep the eyes open. Well, no, might be about it. There's moose poop, so I'm obviously in moose country now. Don't want to sneak up on one, no, that's for sure. standing on the summit of Peru Peak. All socked in. Little bit of an opening over here, but it's so foggy you can't see it anyway. Moose business meetings have been done all over the place up here. I mean, all over the place. You can't go 5 or 10 feet without finding more, and that's been for about the last mile. But unfortunately, there's no moose to join me up here in celebrating this summit. But that's okay. They might be listening behind all the trees and celebrating quietly. Peru Peak is in the bag. It's raining on the mountaintops, and I'm slipping on the roots and rocks. It's not supposed to rain today, and there's moose poop all over the place, and I'm loving it all the time as I descend the climb. This is my kind of day where you don't know what's going to be anyway. The temperature today has been pleasant so far this morning. Woke up to it being a little cool. Had my base layer on with my t-shirt because of that. And then that base layer came off real quick when I was climbing that first mountain. It's almost cooled down since then. Excuse me. Excuse me again. It's windy, breezy. Yeah, definitely not windy. I would call this breezy. It's not all the time, just in certain parts. And gusting at that to maybe 10, 15 miles an hour. But it's nice and cool up top, especially when I was at the top of those peaks. It was almost too cool, but that was because I was pouring sweat. Almost felt like I should have another layer on, but that was because I was pouring sweat again, and it's real humid, so I was really wet. But I digress. It is nice and cool. It feels very comfortable. It's only supposed to get to like 70 today and then back up to 80 tomorrow. At least that's what the weather says. That can obviously be wrong. Got a little bit of rain up top of the mountain, but now the sun is starting to peek through. I'm hoping that burns the fog off because just about 2 or 3 miles from the next peak, and that peak has supposed to have some really good views up top. So I'm hoping I get to see some really good views at that one, since the last 3 of this morning have all been socked in. But it's a beautiful morning nonetheless. It is just always a great day when you're in the mountains, even if you're just seeing forest and you're not seeing much more besides that, even when you're up top seeing the views. I would like to see some views today though, not gonna lie. Beautiful. These boardwalks have been going on for quite some time, at least a mile. I've never seen boardwalks go this long. I guess it's going the whole length of the lake over here. I don't know if you can see it. Right here is a little bit of swampiness, but for the most part, wherever the boardwalks were was dry. And here we come to a muddy area with no boardwalks. Oh my goodness. Oh shit. Sorry for the vulgarity, but I went into about 6-inch deep, cold, wet mud there as I slipped off a twig that I was trying to stand on to get over it. Whew, that's cold. I thought I was falling down for a second in the mud, but I stood up at least. Stayed up, I should say. It's funny how the boardwalk is so long. This is not as new here, as you can tell. Whew. All right. A little bit of an intersection here. Survey box. And over here, Griffith Lake Tenning, Lake Trail number 402, Appalachian Trail number 1. I have no idea what any of that meant. I'm coming up to Baker Peak here in a little less than 2 miles. That I know. Oh boy. Yeah, that cold mud is still cold on my ankle where it covered it up. Is that icy mud or something? I stepped in water here in Vermont. It wasn't that cold. Oh well. Can't always stay above the mud, I guess. All right, carrying on this beautiful day. As you can see, that sun is trying to peek through. Whew. Thank goodness it's not too wet right here. Oh, goodness. Getting caught up in these trees. Yeah, there's some nice views.